let's get into Ayo Dosunmu's performance at Ohio State. Best closer in the country, best masked player in the country. Is he officially Batman now after coming out in that black mask? That was awesome. That thing was awesome.
Now, I remember right before the game starts, and my wife was like, "Is he playing?" I didn't think he was going to play, and I was like, "Yeah, they said he was playing today." Like, and just prepping for, like, watching them prepare for the game. I was excited. I thought it was going to be a good game, and I mean, he didn't disappoint from beginning to end. He was who we thought he was. So,
yes.
So yeah, man. Like, shout out to Illinois State. I said Illinois State. Excuse me. Shout out to Illinois. They're a team I feel like can go to the Final Four. I mean, that's just their style of play and their star power with Ayo and Kofi. Obviously, Kofi didn't. He played well, but he didn't like go to his normal double status. But I mean, I think these guys could be a very, very big problem, especially since they're starting to gel. And now that these the other guys, like the supporting cast, had an opportunity to like show off their talent and boost their confidence before conference tournament play. I mean, I feel like that was a good thing for them. Like, it is a good thing for Illinois to take into the deep into the tournament, hopefully.
Yeah. So my big thing with them is that I kind of expected when Ayo was out that like Adam Miller would be the guy that would step up for him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's who it would end up being. And it wasn't. It was Andre Curbelo. And over the course of the last 4 games, he's averaged 15.8 points, 7.5 boards, and 4.8 assists, which is pretty damn good. And what that means is that now they can go with like these two point guard looks. And for me, like in the last 10 years, I went on this rant the other day, but in the last 10 years, 8 of the 10 teams that won the national title had 2 point guards. Whether it was like Russ Smith and Peyton Siva, or Shabazz and Kemba Walker, or Shabazz and Ryan Boatwright, like they've had 2 point guards. Ty Jerome and Kihei Clark won it in 2019. So the only teams that didn't were the Villanova team in 2018 that had Jalen Brunson and like 3 other combos on the floor with him.
Yeah, exactly.
And 2012 Kentucky with Anthony Davis and Michael K. Gilbert. So now you can play Andre Curbelo and Ayo Dosunmu together. And that just gives you a like completely different look. And I think that takes some of the onus on Ayo to be the sole creator. Because the one thing that like he's really, really good, but the one thing about him is he's a little bit predictable because he's kind of right hand dominant. And you kind of know what Illinois wants to get him, the action they want to get him into. So having another guy on the floor that can take some of that playmaking responsibility away from him, especially when they're as good as Andre is, that's huge. That's huge. So let me ask you this. When you have those 2 point guards together, or those 2 playmakers, like why does that have such an impact on a basketball team in a basketball game?
Well, speaking strictly on Illinois, I mean, thinking about Ayo's game, he's amazing in transition, like I say all the time. And teams, like you say, he can tend to get a little predictable. And I felt like one of the things that Illinois was missing was more like another point guard who can, like, just looking at their team, Andre aside, their team is missing somebody that can get into the half court and create and make plays for other people as well. Two guard teams usually do well just because if you have 2 point guards on the floor, I mean, you have double the opportunity for somebody that leads the floor, leads the team to set up plays for everybody. So I like you brought up Peyton Siva, who's a great point guard, and Russ Smith. Like, that was a great example of like 2 point guard teams where you could put the ball in one of those 2 guys' hands and something good will happen, whether they find their own shot because they were good enough scorers or they find a shot for someone else. Andre is creative enough to find his own shots. He's also creative enough to find shots for other guys. And the way that Ayo is in transition, I mean, it's almost like they can take care of both. It's like the James Harden, Russell Westbrook. Granted, I hope it works out a little bit better, but Russ is amazing in transition, and then you get the ball in James's hands, and then you have half court pick and roll and things of that nature. I can see that dynamic almost in a sense with these 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's it makes them better.
Yeah.
Makes them better.
Basically, yeah. Man.